Hi, I'm Danielle from Design in Words. Big thank you for downloading my Introduction to Brush Script workshop. I'm going to flip over to a screen in a minute and I'm going to talk you through some of my favorite pens and walk through the proper pen position as well as some basic strokes just to get you started. If you have any questions at all, you can hit the message me down below and you can send me an email directly and I'll get back in touch. Thanks so much. So I'm just going to show you a couple of my favorite brush pens and some really simple things so that you can get started right away with our Introduction to Brush Script workbook. So the first brush pens that I like to use that are really easy to get here in Amsterdam are the Edding brush lettering starter set. And these are great because they come with lots of colors that are really easy to mix and match. So I like those ones. My other favorites are these awesome ones that you can buy online from Amazon. Artline Stix brush markers. So make sure you get the ones that say brush marker on there. These are a little bit thicker, but again, they come in this awesome range of colors. You can get them in packs of, I think, 6, 12, and 20. So there's heaps of different opportunities available to do those. And the other thing is that you can always, attach them together too, so you can have a bit of fun. Just a little added bonus. And then the really fancy, super duper art store ones that cost a little bit more money are the ombow pens, and these are about €3 to €4 each. You can buy them online and in art stores, and they do come in some packs, but you can buy those individually. These are the top of the line creme de la creme, but they are pretty expensive, so just as a little option. Anyway, they do have a dual end, so you've got the brush end on one end and you got a fine liner on the other, so that's kind of a bonus there. So I'm going to use my Eddings ones for these, and I'm just going to start to give you a really basic idea. Remember how I said in the intro how you don't want to hold your brush pen like a pen? You want to hold it more like a paintbrush. So I'm going to grab a pen. Here we go. So when I'm using just a normal pen, I write with my pen pretty much up and down. Hi. It's not a great pen, but you can see what I mean. With a brush pen, you want to hold your pen at a 45-degree angle. If you hold it up and down, you're not going to be able to get much variation. It's a great way to get a really thin line, but it's not a super way to get that nice thin and thick that we want to be getting. So you see how my hand is angled here? I'll just zoom out a little bit so you can see that. And you see how the pen is just resting almost on the line of my thumb? That's how you want to use your pen to get a really nice angle. So when I put pressure on the pen, I get a nice thick line on the way down and a thin line on the way back up. So no pressure on the way up, pressure on the way down. No pressure on the way up, pressure on the way down. It's pretty much impossible to do that when you're holding your pen up and down. And it's a really easy way to actually ruin the brush pen. So make sure you're keeping that pen on an angle. Now, I'm going to flip over and just show you a couple of the really basic strokes that we've got in our workbook. So I'm going to this Brush Scripts basic page. And that's a great place to start. You'll notice that all of the brush pages have, as I mentioned in the instructions, 2 colors. So we start with our blue color, that's our first stroke, then lift the pen and go on to our green color. I'll get back to that in a sec, so just keep that in mind. But with the basic brush script strokes, we want to start with our upstroke, so you can trace this gray line nice and light on the way up. Nice and light on the way up. You can trace 3, and then try a couple on your own to get the hang of it. And then you can move down. You can start doing a nice, see how that arrow goes down? Just move that into view there. So what you're going to do with this one is you're going to follow the arrow, put some pressure on your pen, and pull it down. Make a nice thick stroke, just like that. Awesome. And then we're going to get a little bit fancy. So with the overturn, that's what this one's called, we do a light stroke on the way up and a heavy stroke on the way down. So again, following that arrow, nice light upstroke, heavy on the downstroke. And you can just continue to work your way through all the different basic strokes on here. Once you've got the hang of those, then you can head on over to the lowercase letters and get started there. So as I was saying before, every letter that I have has an example. And that example here is what the letter should look like. So that first stroke there, that blue one, that's your first stroke, and the green one is your second stroke. Now, you can do these all in the same color. You don't have to change colors, but it just gives you an idea of the first stroke, then you lift your pen, and then do the second stroke. So you want to follow the arrows. So here, I'm going to start over here at the bottom of the arrow, pressure, 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 release, all the way up to here, and then I'm going to lift my pen up, pressure, and release to get that nice shape. And then you can trace the next few letters to get the hang of it. And then try a couple on your own. And it goes that way through all of the alphabet, all the lowercase letters, getting into the uppercase letters, and the same thing goes for these ones. So we'll do the B, for instance. So we've got the leg of the B here, which is a nice heavy downstroke, and then a really smooth kind of wobbly upstroke. And you can see how that's one heavy stroke on the way down. Lift the pen, do a light stroke, then heavy going down, heavy going down and around. So that's 2 strokes. So 1, 2. And then you can try a couple on your own again. So heavy stroke, light upstroke, going to heavy, and then light again on the up. Now remember, this isn't easy right away. It does take a long time to get the hang of it. So don't worry if it's a little bit tricky at first. It should be a bit tricky because you're learning a new skill. The other thing I'm going to say just before I go is you'll notice that I had my paper on a bit of an angle. I write on a bit of an angle. Not everybody writes dead straight like this. So make sure you adjust the paper so that you feel comfortable when you're writing. I like to have my words at about 45 degrees to me, but you can play around with it and just make sure you're comfortable when you're writing, because that's the most important thing. So there you have it, brush script in 6 minutes or less. Really, really excited that you're joining me on this journey. And don't forget, if you have any questions at all, feel free to email me and I'm happy to help out. Enjoy!